Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you all for joining me today. It is Thursday, November the 12th. Hard to believe half the month is already gone. So if you're just popping on, excuse me, if you're just popping on this morning, put in where you're listening from. I'd like to know who's listening and where you're listening from. And if you are watching this on replay, put in hashtag replay. So today I have a special guest for you, Eva Medilek, and I will read you a brief segment of her bio because you're gonna really want to tune in and want to hear what Eva has to share with me today and all of you. So Eva is a certified high performance coach and a relationship success coach. She has coached both men and women in the areas of personal development, leadership, and mastering habits for success. And we're really going to get into more details about that today in the interview. Eva specializes in helping driven high achievers have happier, healthier, and more intimate connections in their relationships and business without giving up their power. Eva knows firsthand how a driven personality type can leave you feeling lonely, disappointed, frustrated, and resentful. You can achieve higher levels of success without sacrificing your health, your well-being, and your relationships. And don't we all want that? She uses her personal experiences along with her leadership, relationship, and high performance training to teach you how to truly have it all. And don't we all want to have it all? So give me a few moments as I bring in the fabulous Eva Medilek. Welcome, Eva.
Hi, Linda. How are you today?
I am doing fabulous. Hope you are.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been great. Great morning. I've been up for hours already, and I'm on the West Coast. It's only 8:30 here. I've been up for 3 hours already.
And half my day is over.
Beautiful. I'm just getting started, ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if, as like I said, if you're joining us, put in the hashtag where you're joining from. So Eva, I've provided your bio briefly, but give the audience just a little bit more about who you are and how you got started in business will be helpful.
Well, I love that question because at the ripe age of 60, like there's so many so many little stops along the way into where I've gotten now in my journey. But suffice it to say, I started out my career in dental hygiene and knew at one point about 10 years ago when I was having like my second or third midlife crisis that I needed to be an entrepreneur. And so in building my own business while working, I really got myself burnt out. I was doing my day job. I was building my real estate investment company because I know we have real estate in common as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was doing, the cooking and the shopping and the laundry and, all of the things. And I found myself really being a burnt out, stressed out, overwhelmed, hot mess. And it was affected. My health was affected, having, the stress pains in the neck, plus being a hygienist, always bending over patients. And, but here's the kicker. My relationship was really taking a hit. And my husband and I were not communicating as comfortably as we had been at the beginning of our relationship. We were like short and snippy with each other. I was always frustrated and disappointed because as a driven woman, I was always, not only driven, but East Coast driven, living, which is a special kind of drive, right? And he's kind of the opposite of me. And so there was that frustration that, I'm doing it all, got to do it all myself,
Yep.
that comes with the superwoman syndrome that's also martyr. And I share that with you because as much as my husband and I loved each other, we found ourselves in a predicament where I discovered there was infidelity in our relationship. And that was a huge wake-up call into looking at where I played a part in that, where I could share responsibility in that. And, so the work we did and the journey that we took to really show up for each other, the best version of ourselves that we could be, and really be dedicated to that, was my entrance into not only relationship coaching, but in high performance coaching, because I didn't want to give up my drive. I didn't want to
Right.
give up business and my need to succeed. It's my oxygen is really helping my clients have that both and really having it all. And so learning how my relationship style impacted who I was being in my relationships and learning the habits, so actually marrying the habits of high performance with relationship coaching is kind of, my superpower. And I'm so proud of the journey that my husband and I took and where we are today and how we are super supportive of each other and really mindful and conscious of who we are being in that relationship and learning how to transition out of, work brain to relationship
Mhm.
brain and just the benefit that's had in every area of my life. So
Right.
that's kind of that's my journey right there. So
Wow, awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that because, so often we as individuals that are, married and have our work life and our home lives, sometimes we forget very quickly of, when you're married, you may be going in passing and
mm,
you're not spending enough time with each other to have those deep conversations because we're just so busy doing everything. And, unfortunately, sometimes people grow apart. But we need to have those conversations and really get back to connecting with each other and so that we can have it all.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's not easy to take that level of responsibility. And when
Hmm.
you are really focused on being the best you can be, like sometimes we are just a little bit in competition of, wanting to show our love and appreciation more, which makes it a lot, the level of stress that has gone down in our house, but the level of creation that we're creating in our businesses. We have our business together and we each
Okay.
have our own, personal interest in businesses that we want to pursue, but we're doing more with a lot less stress. We're accomplishing
Right.
more, but stressing less, which, I think is a magic serum that we could all use, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So for those that are listening, give some insight around that aspect of being an entrepreneur. We're going from corporate to an entrepreneur and how you are managing that stress, particularly you with, you and your husband both working to being in similar businesses together.
Mhm.
What advice would you give someone around managing that business opportunity, but also managing the stress level of that?
Well, first of all, the stress level has to do with the level that you take care of yourself and your personal well-being. An acronym that my coach, Brenda Burchard, came up with is MEDS RX. When you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or lost your motivation,
Mm-hmm.
look at your MEDS RX, which is meditation, exercise,
Hmm.
diet, sleep, and supplements, which is the RX.
Oh,
And
got
so
you.
when you look at, I realized, like for me and a lot of women, I wasn't taking care of myself. I was in the energy of doing. I got to do more. I got to get this accomplished. I got to work, get up early and work on my lunch hour, work,
Mm-hmm.
after being home, after dinner, just always in that busy energy. And I wasn't really conscious of who I was being in that area. And I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I wasn't taking care of my self care so that I felt good. I always felt
Right.
stressed and under the gun. And so once I learned the importance of, and I don't mean just self-care like getting your nails done and getting a massage now and then, but really how to set up my day to win so that I had self-care built into my day. At certain periods of the day, I could take a 15-minute break and just rest my brain or breathe or, drink water or do some jumping jacks to start moving to get some oxygen,
Mhm.
a short little walk around the block, or just go outside, sit in the sun for 10 minutes, the beauty of being in California. And
Yeah.
really being conscious of taking breaks. And I liken it to if you've ever seen race cars on a track in a
Mhm.
race going at high speeds, but also pulling over to take those pit stops before their tire is flat or before the engine cracks or they're out of gas. They're doing it at the height of their day, their speed, their position in the race. Even if they're ahead, they are stopping to re-energize so that they can finish as strong as they began. We don't do that in our lives. And so a lot of us, our families, our friendships, our relationships are getting what's left over of us. At the end of the day, they're not getting the best of us.
Right.
So how can we set up our day so that we are always on our A game and it takes care of us first?
Right. Yeah, that's so true. You're right. They get the leftovers. And they should get the full plate, not the leftovers.
Yeah.
So
how do we make sure that we have it to give, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So what would be maybe one tip you would share with someone around who's in a particular situation and they're trying to figure out, well, how do I get myself together so that I am present, for my family, present for my significant other, and they're not getting the leftovers? And, what are some things that they could do today to help with that?
Well, I would say it starts with planning your day. A lot of us take meetings back to back to back, and we don't transition. For example, before I got on this live, I was, on a phone call. I didn't jump from the phone call to the live. I made sure that I had at least 4 to 5 minutes so that I could, one of the things I do is I have some essential oils that I breathe in. I do kind of a release technique to release the energy of that call. By the way, it was my daughter, so I always have to release energy from her. So that I can release energy from that, but bring in new energy. Fully present and vital and vibrant in this interview. So there's some specific things that I do that work for me that take no more than 3 to 5 minutes. I can just breathe in and out through my nose for 10 breaths. And that's one way to settle in. Breathe in some nice essential oils, whether it's a grounding peppermint or a revitalizing citrus. I could physically move to bring more energy if I had something that actually brought me down. Like sometimes those of us who work with clients, some energies can be a little bit lower vibration. So how can I show up vibrant to you when I just had an hour on the phone with someone that I was expending a lot of energy to lift up? And so allow yourself transition time to re-energize and to release. So there's certain techniques I teach my clients in high performance that are release and re-energizing techniques, and we find something that works for them. And especially when you are, let's say, ending your work day and then going back to be, a mom or a dad or a partner or a spouse or a friend, or even just for you, don't just hop up and then go to it. Take some time to transition out of work mode into mommy mode, into spouse mode, into partner mode, whatever that looks like, and re-energize yourself to be grounded and fully present. And, because at the end of the day, if you've got kids, they're telling you what their day is like. If you've got a spouse or partner, they're telling you about your day. You want to share about your day. And so you've got all of this frenetic energy. Showed up, literally exhausted with nothing left. You're not present in those conversations, and people feel that.
Yeah,
That's true. They feel you not be there. And then, we make up stories, women, like they just don't care about us. They don't care about my day, but I'm expected to listen to it. Like we can make up stories like crazy. And like I shared with you today, like I've been up since 5:30 this morning. It is now, we started this at 8:30. I was on the phone with my dad, with his doctor at the VA, having a conversation with my husband, playing with the dog, and, everything before a conversation with my daughter. And, I'm not exhausted because I actually practice what I preach to help me, give and be supportive to my clients and to my obligations. And so I've exhausted myself now. I love the energy that high performance practices, strategies, and habits bring to me so that I can really enjoy my life at a different level and not feel
Right.
wiped out by it.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. So with someone who is dealing with, with COVID, of course, we're all working from home and sitting at our desk or dining room table, whatever it is, having Zoom meetings, like you said, back to back. What advice would you give to someone who's struggling with trying to, take some time to, relax, meditate in between calls or sessions, but if they're having to work back to back, what are some tips that they can use to do to help relieve some of
I don't
that?
have to work back to back. That's the first thing. You have choices in how you plan your day and how you set up your day.
Right.
And I use a scheduler. I schedule in the breaks so that if people who hop on my calendar can't schedule during the break. Maybe once or twice you've got to break the rules because, something has a different level of urgency or maybe
Right.
something went over. But I tell you, some of the habits and practices may be just to take 1 minute to
Mm-hmm.
breathe and set a timer on your phone. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have a choice to make yourself a priority. I don't believe you have to
Right.
back to back to back. And so you get to be intentional in setting up your day to win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think people have gotten into this thing of because it is Zoom and there's no travel time, bam, just get everything done. And then at the end of the day, you're right, they're just like a zombie. They're stressed out and they have no energy to give to their loved ones because they're just completely and mentally exhausted.
Exactly. And we would
Yeah.
do that anyway, whether it's Zoom or whether we're, in a commute. I mean, my goodness, commuting is exhausting, whether it's
Oh,
public
yeah.
transportation or you're in traffic. There's all kinds of, no matter what the situation is. Look, we all have a certain amount of hours in the day. The
Right.
day is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Nobody has more and nobody
That's true.
has
It's all
but
what we do with it.
how you choose to set yourself up to win. And sometimes, sometimes you've got to say yes to saying no.
Mm, that's a good, I like that. Got to say yes to say no.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Interesting. So what as I was sitting there
Right?
yeah,
Sometimes
I was sitting there thinking what
yourself
is an example I could say
yeah. Say yes to yourself means saying no to someone else.
someone else. Yeah.
You know, would you mind? I mean, I had a client the other day who told me she was going, from a big presentation straight into our coaching call. And I was like, you know what? I don't recommend that. I can
Right.
move the call down 15 minutes so you have a moment to be fully present for us.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Do some of the techniques. And so I did that. And it was funny because when I did get on the call with her yesterday, she goes, I blocked it out and then I didn't use it.
Oh.
So I was sending off emails and following up and it's like, yeah. So we do have choices.
Yeah, you're right. And we just have to take advantage of those choices and not just say, I don't have an option or I didn't have the time. Because it's easy for us to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say that.
We're good
So
at
what are
talking
some
ourselves into our own BS sometimes.
that is so, so true. So true. So Eva, how do people get in contact with you if they want to connect with you, learn more about, the high performance and mastering these habits for success?
I love connecting with people and talking with people. So I've made it very easy. Just go to talkwitheva.com and we can set up a time to chat. And it's always easy to go on my website, which is evamedilek.com and read more about me if that's how you choose.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, what are some last words of advice that you would like to give to the audience around people that are in need of your services?
I would say the magic is in the transitions. If you really are struggling with feeling like there's a lot on your plate, sometimes less is creating more space on your plate. But really set up your day in 15-minute increments or something, or give yourself a buffer between tasks.
Mm-hmm.
The other word of advice I would definitely give people is when you get up in the morning, Do not look at your phone or computer for an hour. Give yourself the space to have a morning routine that's just for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. That may be a challenge for some of us.
Oh, it's always a challenge, but you know what? If you just get up earlier than you
Yep,
normally
you're
would,
right.
you could find it that way too. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I can honestly say I do in the mornings. I used to get up and do that, and that's why I said it may be a challenge for some. But I used to get up first thing, bam, 6:30, hitting the computer and checking emails, and before I knew it, it was like 9 o'clock. And I've
Ah,
spent all that time checking emails. Like, that's not a good idea. So now I get up and, my husband and I have, he has his coffee. I drink my sipping water and watch the news. And then I prepare my day and I feel so much more productive. And it's interesting how I feel more productive taking time first to watch the news, but it's that relaxation, preparing for my day. And then I go and I check my emails because we all
yeah,
know once you start checking emails, it's over.
I know. And what I share with my clients as well is like you have emails that you need to respond to, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
emails that you need to generate. And so I would take care of the emails that forward you first. Who do you need to reach out to? Who do you need to, what do you need to generate? Because when you're in the reply mode, you're on other people's priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And so schedule some time for you first, take a break, do something else, and then go on other people's priorities. And you're going to see a difference that's going to have in your energy of the.
Hmm.
And you know
Yeah.
what? The world's not going to fall apart if you don't reply right away. And I used to think I had to reply immediately to everybody who ever sent something. And it's just like, you know what? This is the time I'll set. I'll give it
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes and I'll go through. And if I notice something, I'll just star it. And then when
Right.
I'm ready to get back to everybody, I'll get back to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And life will go on and they will survive.
We're all good.
They will survive. But yeah, it is. It's I don't know what started that, but yeah, I know for me, I had that pressure. And I think it was when I was in corporate. I just transitioned that to my entrepreneur life of bam, I gotta check these emails because bosses get up early and they may be shooting you an email at the crack of dawn to host a meeting and you're thinking, I missed that. So that could be part of the transition. Now I've recovered. I'm a recovering corporate emailaholic.
Perfect. So happy for
Yeah.
you. 12-step program for emails.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that the people that are listening have learned a lot from you around, being a high performance coach and how, mastering some very simple habits that will drive your business and you as a person to success. And so again, your link is go to evamedilek.com and I will post that in the chat so that everyone can connect with you. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity to get to know you better, learn more about you and the business and how we can both support each other.
Thanks, Linda. It was great. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely. And thank you all for joining. And until next time, I'll chat with you guys next week. Bye-bye.